Hello, I'm Teresa. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me here today. Today we're going to be doing some gel printing and creating a selection of abstract, fun, colourful papers that are going to be perfect for collaging on future projects. All the paper I'm using today is tissue paper of one type or another, and every bit of it is out of my sort of salvaged recycle box. I save any paper that comes in packages that I get, gifts that I'm given. Tissue paper is always really useful, whether I reuse it in my own packaging or whether I want to repurpose it for craft purposes. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. So I've got plain tissue paper, printed tissue paper. I'm sure all of you have probably got some tissue somewhere in the house, and it's absolutely perfect if you want to collage with it because it's lightweight, molds to whatever shape you're collaging onto, and it has a real nice quality to it when you layer it up. We're not going to be using any other products other than paint and our brayer on the plate. No stencils, no stamps, so this one is cheap and easy and no clean-up required other than cleaning your brayer and your plate at the end of the session. So if you want to see how it's done, I'll clear this out of the way and we'll get set up. As always, I'm going to begin with a quick rundown of what we're going to be using today. Today I've got my large gel plate out. This is my 8 by 10 inch Jelly Arts brand gel printing plate. As I say at the beginning of most videos where printing is concerned, use whatever size plate you've got. I'm using the largest size today because the papers that I'm creating I want to use for collage. So obviously if I can create a big sheet in one go, that's going to be quicker than lots of little sheets. So, but if all you've got is a 5 by 7, 6 by 6, even a little 3 by 5 plate, there's no reason why you can't do this. You'll just probably have to create more individual prints. So this is my 8 by 10 inch plate. I've got my brayer. This is the Speedball soft brayer. I've got a whole selection of paints. I'm using Deco Art Americana brand, and I've just picked a load of bright colours. We've got Carousel Pink, True Red, Bright Orange, Green Tree, Sea Breeze, Sour Apple, Lavender, Calypso Blue, Chartreuse Yellow, and Razzleberry, Lamp Black and Snow White. I'm going to use any or all of them, not entirely sure, just wanted a whole selection. I'm going to be printing onto tissue paper because, as I said earlier, I want to be able to use these finished prints for collaging. Collaging is always easier if you've got a lighter weight paper. There's a possibility I might be collaging onto something that's not completely flat, or maybe onto a canvas that's got a bit of texture, or onto something with some dimension, in which case a very lightweight paper is going to be easier to do, to deal with those sort of inconsistencies in the surface than anything that's any heavier. Now you can use deli paper. I wanted to experiment with a range of different tissue papers. I'm kind of recycling and reusing what I've got. These are all papers that I have had as packaging in either things that I've bought or gifts that I've been given. And I have a selection of printed and plain. I've got this one here with this lovely sort of Dalmatian spot on it. This one here, which has an Orla Keeley design on it. This was an item that I bought. This was in the packaging. This one here was from a shop called Paper Chase here in the UK. They sell stationery, greetings cards, sort of giftware, that type of thing. And again, this was obviously in some packaging of something that I bought. But I quite liked the imagery on that. This one here, I believe is that, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it could be a Tim Holtz design. It's like a vintage collage design tissue paper. A gift that I was given a while back was wrapped in this, and I saved it because it was nice. So I liked all the imagery on that. And then I've got some black tissue paper and some white tissue paper here. So as you can see, it's all been used. Some of it's a bit ripped, a bit torn. There might be little bits of sellotape remaining on certain bits of it. I will say I am expecting some of it may disintegrate, it may stick or tear. Some of it will be probably coming off in a much better condition. Feeling the different varieties of tissue there that I've got in that selection. There is some seems very flimsy, some seems a little sturdier. Some of the printed ones feel like they've almost got a slight coating on them, so I believe they may hold up a little bit better than others. But it's all about experimenting. Worst case scenario, it rips, it tears, it might stick to the plate. I can go and rinse that off under the tap and clean everything all up, start again. This is not costing me anything. This is all free packaging that I got. And I'm hoping that having the mixture of the patterned and the plain is going to add interest to the papers that we create today. The other thing that I want to attempt today is I don't want to use any stamps. I don't want to use any stencils. I literally just want to print with my paint, my brayer, my tissue paper. I do have some just plain simple printer copier paper here. I always use this for sort of rolling off excess paint off my brayer to one side. So I do have the possibility that I might be able to, I could tear some paper to create a little mask or something if I wanted to do that. I could possibly crinkle a bit of paper up to remove a bit of paint, again to add some texture. The other thing I do have, as always, is some paper towel. Again, I use this for cleaning my plate off in between paints. This one happens to have a pattern embossed on it, so I could, if I really wanted to, use a little bit of that maybe to add some texture, but I'm not going to go and get any other products. Sometimes, you know, you don't want the extra cleanup. Sometimes you might not have things. I'm very aware whenever I use different products here, I always do try and say substitute with what you've got. Don't worry if you don't have something, there's always a workaround. And I do appreciate that some people either don't have access to a good selection of crafting goods or don't have the money to go out and purchase lots and lots of different products. So today I'm going to see what we can do just with some paint and the brayer and the tissue paper, and really there's no excuse then. If you've got a gel plate, you should be able to do this. Again, because the prints are going to be used, they're not going to be a finished article in themselves, they're going to be used for collage or as the basis of something else. We don't need anything that's going to be highly decorative. It really doesn't matter, because we're going to be working with these to create something else on another date. The only other thing that I've got here, I've got some water in a spray bottle for cleaning, and I also, as always, have my little bottle of baby oil, which again I use for cleaning my plate. It does help with paint, some of the paint that the water leaves behind. I think that's about it. So I think it's about time we get going. So today it's going to be very straightforward. Choosing colours that I like, applying to the plate, sort of trying to maybe use the brayer to create some interesting patterning on the plate, do some partial printing, layering up different colours, different things, just to create some interesting backgrounds for collage. So I'm going to deliberately try and get some lines in here. Normally I spend a while trying to get rid of the lines off the brayer, but I think that's going to help add some patterning. And we'll start off with one of the plain tissues. We'll see how we go with that. And I don't mind that there's some creasing and crinkling, because again that might just help add a little bit of patterning. And take a little extra care in the removal of the paper. And as you can see there, the creases, that's created a really nice effect, almost like branches or sort of like broken ice. Very nice, like that. I'm going to put that aside to dry. I really quite like this that's left on here, so I'm not going to clean that off. I'm going to leave that be. I'm going to put a different colour on top and see what we can pull off that.
So small, watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me.
And here's my finished pile of prints. I'm actually really happy with the fact that the crinkles in the tissue paper created such a fun effect, and on some of them it looks really stunning. As I say, I'm not looking at these as sort of individual prints as such. These are going to become part of a bigger thing. That's something for hopefully next week. I shall be using them. But let's have a run through what we've got. I mean, we've got this one here that was one of the printed tissue papers, and we've got some real nice sort of lines and sort of texture coming through there in the different colours. This polka dotted one here did several layers of pulling up sort of more the remainder of paint that was on the plate after doing a first pull. And again, it's created quite a nice subtle effect with that pattern coming through. This was one of those vintage printed papers. This one I very nearly lost it. It already had a bit of a tear in it, but I managed to get it off in one piece, so quite happy with that. I actually had no paper that actually stuck to the plate completely or ripped, so that was very, very good. Again, I like the fact that you can see the print through this, and this nice chartreuse yellow is a real good contrast with the black there. This one here again did some partial printing, a couple of different layers on there to build up different colours, and we've got the sort of the crackly texture again, really happy with that. This one, I love the colours on this one. Real nice sort of glowing oranges and yellows and pinks, and that little bit of blue on top really sort of sets it all off. This here printed on the printed paper with the white. I think I might well use it in reverse so that we've got the colour behind and then the white showing through. Be interested to see what that looks like when we glue it down. The tissue paper goes a little bit more transparent looking when we stick it down, so I'm hoping that the colour contrast will become more obvious. This one here, we've got some real nice crinkly crackly texture, very happy with that, and again love these colours. Same with this one here, a couple of different layers and nice sort of crinkled texture. The prints on the black surprised me the most. I'm really impressed with them. I love how they remind me of trees, sort of winter trees. Very nice. Not sure whether I'm going to bring myself to use those for collage or whether I'm going to try and find a way to sort of keep those more intact. But yeah, very pleased with the way that that's worked on the black tissue, and need to get hold of some more. I only had this little bit, so I'll have to see if I can come across some more black tissue paper. Again, another one here, bright colours contrasting with that printed paper. Another one done on the plain paper. Again, we're getting different layers, different sort of positive and negative results for that crinkly texture. Another one here printed on this stationery paper, very nice again. I love how that sort of comes through and it adds something extra. This was a secondary print, didn't put anything else on that, decided just to leave it as it was. This one here, again, another one that I absolutely love, just love the contrast of that paint on that black, really nice, and so I'm going to spend the next week trying to think of a way of using these. Another one here on the plain paper, again, you say you're just getting a really nice texture from the crinkles that you get. Don't try and smooth it out too much. As you put it down, I mean, you can use your fingers to create added crinkles if you want to, but with this already being used, it had some creases in it. Another one here, again, that reminds me of trees. I am so... This is the thing I love about printing, that you get so surprised by things. I was hoping to get a nice contrast on the black, but I just didn't realise how sort of striking the effects were going to be, so very happy with that. Another one on the printed paper here, just got some crinkly texture. Again, this another print on the vintage printed. You see, these I could use the other way around as well. Obviously with this there is writing, so the writing would be in reverse. The other option would have been to print on the reverse so that we've got the writing the correct way round. But when I'm doing things like collage and things, I'm not really bothered if words are the wrong way round. I tend to piece things upside down, sideways, on, whatever. So have a choice of using these printed ones either way. Another one done on the plain paper, again just getting some layered texture with the creases and crinkles. Again, one that I might look at in reverse. This with the white print on, I think is going to look better the other way round. Another one just done some partial printing on the polka dot paper, didn't do a lot to that one. This one here, again, as you see, I love these bright colours with the black, but we get a completely different effect if we turn it and look at it from reverse, where the printed imagery will then be above the painted layers that we've put. This one was built up with several layers of sort of remaining bits of paint on the plate, and I really like that. Nice, so it's got some nice depth in there and different colours showing through. Another polka dotted one. Again, looking at it that way looks completely different to this way. Gives us two options on how we're going to use that. And this is a good thing about using acrylic paint, because acrylic paint, once it's dry, it's permanent. If we put the glue on one side or the other, it isn't going to matter. It's not going to move that paint about. It's going to stay put. So again, beautiful bright colours on this vintage printed paper. This one, I think it's... the print shows through really well on this side, so I don't feel there was any particular benefit to going at it from the other direction. And finally, another one done on the white, which, as I say, I think was going to look better with the colours showing through from behind. But I'm really happy with that. You know, I've sat and created a load of prints there using recycled packaging and no other products whatsoever apart from my paint. No stencils, no stamps, nothing at all. If you don't have any stencils, you don't have any stamps, you don't have access to that type of thing, you don't want the cleanup, you don't want to be cleaning stencils and things off today, have a go at doing this. Have a look through your packaging. We've all got tissue paper. I'm sure, you know, any good crafter doesn't throw tissue paper away. They keep it either for recycling in their own packaging or for craft purposes. Have a go, see what you can create, build up a little stash of papers that are going to be perfect for collaging, and all being well, I'll be back next week with a project to use some of these. But for now, that's all. Bye!
Feeling so small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes.